at your own pace. There's flexibility to it. So primary reason number one is unlimited access gives you flexibility. Reason number two is that if you have unlimited access to a process, then it's virtually impossible for you not to be successful, and that's why we offer a money-back guarantee. And I encourage you to review the money-back guarantee that's outlined in our training program. It's posted in the frequently asked questions section of our program. Number two is that by having unlimited access to the training process, it's virtually impossible for an individual not to be successful. And the third and final reason why we offer unlimited access is because if the way we sharpen our acumen and consistently be able to improve is through repetition, if you have unlimited access to the repetitive process, then it just naturally follows that your success and your acumen is going to continue to grow through this repetitive exposure to the same information. And that's the key reason that where people miss the mark in getting involved in trading is for some reason in all other disciplines they believe that practice and repetition is going to make them successful, but in trading for some reason they just have to, it's a one-stop shop, find the holy grail, the silver bullet, let me review the information, go online, and all of a sudden I'm going to start yielding thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's where the real value of unlimited training comes in. And so remember, the core of our training program is we distill everything down to its simplest process. That's why we call it thin slice trading. In other words, we want to eliminate the unnecessary so the necessary may speak. And that's a common problem for most traders, is they don't have the ability to eliminate the unnecessary. In other words, I developed the thin slice training program on a principle called Occam's razor. Occam's razor states that whenever you're doing a scientific process, whenever you're doing an analytic process, that you can come up with the best results by working off of a fixed set of information. In other words, more information does not necessarily mean that you're going to yield more results. And that's a common pitfall for most traders. And so the reality is we can make the best decision off of a fixed amount of information. Once we exceed that amount of information, it can have a diminishing return. So more information does not necessarily equate to greater successes in trading. And so that's why we work off of a fixed set of information. Let me just check in here on our franc trade here. We're inching up here. We just need to get a couple of more pips here. Our net 10 pips here is actually at this point right here. So we just need price to spike up a little more, and we'll have achieved our profit objective here on our trade here. And once again, we can clearly see that I didn't call it, I missed calling the opportunity, but our dollar-pound trade did achieve its 10 pips. I said we potentially had our short on our dollar-pound trade here, as well as a short on our euro. And I mention that for two reasons. Is I noticed that there's a couple of people that are attending the session today who have already purchased our program, and so they're attending for observational purposes, which is fine. So I want to go ahead and highlight those because that information will make sense to them. And the other thing too is I'm not real keen on calling every trading opportunity, because we do have a lot of people that simply just want to attend this presentation and trade what we discuss, and don't give us the benefit of the doubt and just simply communicate with us what their intentions are, is that they really don't have much of an interest in pursuing our program, and we spend countless hours doing so. So it looks like here we've just there we go. We've just hit a point here where we've yielded our 10 pip profit objective here once again. So there we've got a live setup that I've called here as far as our dollar franc trade, and we had a couple of other setups that I did not physically call live, but there were some entry points that we can see. So let's go back to the training process, and then once again in the last portion of the presentation we'll walk a little bit more forward through what it is we're looking for and try to disclose as much information as we can. Remember, 100% of the individuals who sign up with our program purchase our program based on the information that's laid out in this free session, because the reality is that the trading process makes so much sense to them. The live market activity is tertiary to their decision, and it should be. once again, if the process makes sense, the performance will naturally follow. Live market activity should validate the fact that it makes sense about learning in a live market, but live market activity should not validate solely whether or not you want to get involved in getting good training and becoming successful at trading and trading the Forex. So once again, for one fee, you receive unlimited access to the online learning center. Unlimited access to our training program. Now we break the training program up in a multi-phase process, because remember the 3 tiers of the graph. In other words, we all learn in the same process. And I can't stress this enough, because we always say one of our cardinal rules that we work off of is if you follow the training process as we recommend it, you will be successful. The individuals that struggle with our training struggle for simply 2 reasons. One is they typically already have some type of experience, so they have to unlearn some information. And 2 is they approach the training process in an ad hoc format. They believe that if they can go through the training process as rapidly as possible, that they're going to become successful immediately. It would be no different than me saying I want to become a professional golfer, so if I can get lessons 12 hours a day for the next 30 days, I'm on my way to going to the PGA. When in fact we know, once again, we all learn in the same process. So phase 1 is the online learning center, and this is the phase where we have a password protected website. And in this password protected website is the multimedia library. We break it up into 5 core modules, and inside of each one of these modules is 25 individual segments. And so these 25 individual segments, each one of them is a media file. It's a video that we want you to watch. So the first phase is we stress that you should take a minimum of 5 days to review the information in the online learning center to prepare you for the next phase, which is phase 2, the online training class. And so phase 1 is review the information in the online learning center. Now we host this multimedia library in this fashion because we constantly can go in there and we can put in fresh market information. We show you new examples. The reason why I stress this is, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, a number of programs that I've been a part of is they're all formatted in a hard DVD or videotape. And so after a year, you're looking at the exact same market examples, and the information becomes stagnant to you. And so in this fashion, what happens is we have the ability to review this information, and by having it in an online venue, it allows us to go in and give new current examples, because market conditions are ever changing. And that's the real value of unlimited access to our online learning center. So phase 1 is get comfortable with the information in the online learning center. And once again, we want you to take a minimum of 5 days to review that information before you access phase 2. I encourage you to look at all the bullet points here. I'm going to touch on a few of them. How to identify high probability entry points. How to consistently take profit in module number 1. And module number 2, capital preservation. That's our primary objective, is to preserve capital. You know, when you sit at the marketplace and you're sitting on the sidelines and there's a day where you may not have been able to find a trade, that day is just as successful as the day when you find a successful trade. People are so frustrated oftentimes when they're trading on days when they can't successfully find a trade, and the reality is lack of action is action in trading. Your primary objective is capital preservation. Your primary objective as a trader is not to constantly be jumping into the marketplace. It's looking for the best setups. Remember, looking for high probability entry points. Module number 3 is our thin slice worksheet. This is that worksheet that allows us to go through and fill out and complete that worksheet prior to each one of the trading sessions, so we can then anticipate where our entry points are going to be. Creating a trading ritual. It's so important that we go through the same processes. This is what creates that conditioning and that habit. Just as the musician goes through the same ritual so that they can read that sheet of music and have a better understanding of those visual cues, the trader needs to do the same thing. We are all conditioned by repetition. Module number 4 is what we call the core 4. Remember, we teach 8 black and white strategies in this program. We call the first 4 the core 4 because they happen every single day.